Hi my beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, hello, my name is Karina and thank you for being here today. So I do post makeup videos, some fashion sometimes, but for the most part I kind of focus more on makeup. I am going to try to do a little bit more of the fashion now that summer's coming up, but that is pretty much what my channel consists of. So for today's video, I wanted to go ahead and do a makeup routine focusing on matte. And you know, if you guys have oily skin, then this is going to be perfect for you. If you guys have more of the drier skin, I feel like you guys can, you know, tweak it a little bit, use like a more moisturizing primer and all of that. There are, you know, ways that you can get away with it. I feel like, again, everybody's skin is different, but this was my take on a full matte look. So this is what I would, you know, go to if I was going out somewhere, depending on where I was going. I do mention in the video and in the end of the video that I do personally like more of a matte skin, like base and all of that good stuff. I don't really go for dewy, as you guys obviously will see in the video. You guys will see my little tips and tricks of what I do to get my face to look matte. So if you guys want to learn how I achieve this look right here, then you know what to do and just continue watching. Hi guys, so to start off, I'm going to take my primer. I'm going to go ahead and use my Frankie Cosmetics primer, and this one's more like of a silicone based primer. Go ahead and show you guys what the consistency looks like. It is a little bit more on the thicker side, so if you guys are not into like thicker texture kind of consistency primers, I wouldn't recommend this one because it is a little bit more on the thicker side, but it is a really good primer and I really like the finish that it gives my makeup once it is all like nice and soaked into my skin. So for foundation today, I'm going to go ahead and use my Beauty Creations Flawless Day Foundation. This one is a medium to full coverage. I was using the shade 4.0 before because it was like a perfect match to my neck. But I feel like throughout the day and in the nighttime when I would look at myself like in the mirror, I feel like it was a little bit too light. So I'm going to go ahead and use 4.5. So I did pick up, I want to say 4 different shades of this foundation. This is 4.0, so you guys can see. This one is 4.0. It's a tiny bit lighter. I don't even know if you guys can honestly tell the difference. But they are more like of a yellow based undertone, which I love. So I'm going to go ahead and use 4.5. I'm just going to do about 2 pumps to begin. And then I'm going to use my Dose of Colors Jumbo Beauty Blender. And I'm going to use the flat part of that. And then I'm just going to start by blending that out. And even if this one is a little bit darker, it is okay because I obviously am going to go in with my concealer and conceal my face. So it is going to lighten it up just a little bit, but I had been wanting to switch the shade of my foundation, but with this quarantine going on, honestly, I don't remember when the last time that I actually did like a full beat was because I just don't have any energy to do my makeup. So that's why I'm going in with 4.5 because I feel like this one is a tad bit darker than 4.0. I don't know why, if I'm the only one, but I haven't had any energy like to do my foundation. I'm sorry, to do my face in general, like my makeup. Like yesterday, today is Friday. I don't know when this video will go up. Hopefully I will have it up by like Saturday or Sunday. But yesterday, as in being Thursday, I had told myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a shower and then I am going to get ready. I took the shower. That part was easy. Just actually coming to my makeup kind of section that I have and actually sitting down and do my makeup, yeah, it was a no for me. And I had been wanting to upload because I haven't had the chance to upload in a while, so I wanted to go ahead and get a video up for you guys. And I really like the coverage of this because, like I did mention, it is medium to full coverage, so you obviously could go in with another layer and blend it up, but I think this is okay. Again, I am going to go in with my concealer, so it's going to give me a little bit more coverage underneath my eyes, but as far as the base, I feel like this is okay. And then for concealer, I do have 2 shades. I do prefer one over the other. I have the shades, did I already say what brand it is? It's Dose of Colors. So I do like 13 more just because it is a little bit lighter, as you guys can tell. 14 is this one on the bottom. It's just honestly like a little bit of a difference. I did use this one before, when I actually did my makeup, and there wasn't really that much of a difference. The only thing that I do say is they do oxidize, because I know, let's see if I put it on, if you can see, like, so it's a really nice color, you know. Again, you guys know I like more like yellow based concealers, but I do feel like it oxidizes because by the time I'm done applying this and I'm applying it on this side, I feel like this one oxidized already. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply it here. But as far as like the coverage, I feel like it is a really good concealer. I don't know if it beats my Too Faced one, but so just down the nose on my smile lines here. So it does, like I did mention, it does oxidize, not a whole bunch, but it does oxidize just a little bit. So that's why I don't like using the shade 14, just because 14 isn't as light as I like it to be. So I feel like when it does oxidize, it's obviously going to get a little bit darker. So that's what I'm trying to avoid, is using darker concealers. So again, I'm going to go in with my Dose of Colors Beauty Blender. And I'm just going in with the pointed side. And I feel like this consistency of the concealer, I feel like it isn't as creamy as like my Tarte one or as my Too Faced one. But I like it because I feel like when I applied my concealer, when I was using my Too Faced one or my Tarte one, as you guys know, as you guys just seen, I like applying it to the sides of my nose. And I feel like when I applied those other two foundations, I feel like because it was so creamy, when I would blend it out, it kind of just went all over the place. And it really didn't stick and stay into, like, to the sections that I put it. So I feel like this one, I feel like it does a really good job at staying put to wherever I put the concealer. And same with, like, the one down my nose. When I would use my Tarte one or my Too Faced one, because the consistency was more like creamy, I feel like when I blended it out, it just went all over my nose and it didn't look like I had a really, really snatched nose like it does. Not snatched, but like I have kind of like a natural contour. I don't know if that made sense. Hopefully it does. But I noticed a huge difference with this concealer that it did not do that. So obviously I did mention that this whole kind of full tutorial is going to be more like of a matte skin base and matte eyeshadow and matte lip. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and take my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and pretty much with the same beauty blender, I'm just going to take the other side, which has no product on it, and then I did put my loose setting powder in the cap. So then I'm just going to take that and start to set my under eyes. Okay. And then just going to start by doing it on my smile lines. So on a daily routine, I prefer a more matte base. That's just a personal preference that I have and I've had for a long time. I have tried using like dewy foundations. I personally don't like it, especially in the summer, because I feel like my makeup is just sliding everywhere, even though I did set my face. Again, I have to try it again because before I didn't used to use this powder, so this powder does make a huge difference in my makeup routine. So I do have to kind of go back maybe and use a dewy foundation, but do my same routine that I would normally do with my powders and my bronzers and all that, and see how, you know, it sits with my skin. But I know before, when I would do my foundation, and I would use like the L'Oreal Infallible, the Pro Glow, or just any kind of dewy, kind of set any foundations, I found that when I would go out into the sun or I would be outside, my face just felt like I had foundation and it felt really sticky, and I did not like that. So I prefer more of a matte kind of foundation and more of a matte look, as I mentioned a million times. I don't really use highlighter anymore, which I feel like made a huge difference in making my skin look really matte, which I love. So now that I blended out everything on the entire face, now I'm just going to go back and blend the concealer underneath my eye into my skin, and just really pressing that in to make sure that it's really going to soak into my skin and give me a nice, really airbrushed under eye. If you guys have tried this tip before, instead of like wiping off like the translucent powder, let me know in the comments down below if you notice a difference. So as you guys can see, my face just looks pretty much all like matte. There's like really no shine to it. Okay, so now moving on to bronzer. I'm going to take my Makeup Shack Silhouette Contour Palette, and then I'm going to go into my Morphe Angled Brush, and I'm going to take the shade Bronze and Ash. I'm going to take those two, just because Bronze is a little bit more on the warmer side, and Ash is a little bit more on the cooler side, so I feel like using the two is going to give me like a really neutral bronzer kind of shade. I never know if my camera picks up when I do my bronzer, because if you guys have any recommendations on camera for like filming that has like the autofocus and all that but is not too expensive, let me know, because I've been looking for a new camera for a long time, but I wanted to get like a really expensive one, but I feel like I really don't need a super expensive camera, because I'm like I mentioned in one of my videos a long time ago when I mentioned my equipment that I use for my studio kind of little setup that I have. I have the Sony A5100, I want to say it is. It honestly does a good job. Obviously, this is what like it looks like. So I feel like it does a really good job, but I do feel like I want a new camera because I've had this one for years. And I don't really like going too heavy on my bronzer, just because I feel like if I keep adding some, then it's going to give me like a really muddy, patchy bronzer. So I don't like doing it, so I feel like this is okay. And then I do take just like this flat shader brush, and then I'm going to take those two same colors, Bronze and Ash, just to contour my nose. So now that I did that, then you guys know I go back into my beauty blender and just lightly blend that bronzer in, just to make it look a little bit more natural. Okay. And then now for my blush, I'm going to take another angled brush. I don't know which brush this is called, but it's from BH Cosmetics. And then I'm going to take this Note Desert Rose blush. It looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and just take that. So now for eyes, I don't know exactly what palette I want to do, but like I did obviously mention, we are going to do more of a matte kind of look. So I'm going to go in with this one. This one is my Morphe 18T palette. I did create a video. I did upload a video specifically using this palette and creating like a really fierce look. So if you guys want to check that out, then I'll leave it down below. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to take my Makeup Shack T11 brush, and then I'm going to take this shade up here. I took off the little plastic, so I don't know what the shade is called. I'm probably just going to do like a really subtle brown matte smoky eye, nothing too crazy. Again, I am not going anywhere, but I did want to upload this video and get this video out for you guys, so you guys can see if I were to go out and I were to, you know, choose more of a matte kind of all look, then this is what I would go to. Again, I do my eyeshadow sometimes, and I do use like shimmer sometimes, but for the most part, I don't really do my eyeshadow. I just do my face and apply some lashes, and I'm good. But I did want to do some eyeshadow. If you guys do want to kind of like spice it up a little bit and add some shadow, I feel like this look is going to be perfect. And then the next brush that I'm going to use is this Morphe M513 brush. And then I'm going to use this one right here. Those are probably the only two colors that I will use, just because I don't want to do a too intense look. I want to keep it simple, but still really glam, but easy to like create. So I just apply that shade to my lid, and then I'm going to blend it into my crease. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished this eye off of camera, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I did to this side. So I'm going to take that second shade that we used for the top of the eye, and I'm going to apply that with my Morphe X Jeffree Star collaboration in the brush JS6. Okay, so what I did was I pretty much just took that brush, and then I just started to apply that to the bottom of my lash line. And I like that this brush is fairly fluffy, but not too big to where the point where it's going to get like my eyeshadow down here. But I feel like it does a good job at covering a good amount of my bottom lash line, and it makes it look like it's smoked out, which I really like. Because I know that if I were to use obviously like a bigger brush like this, it'd get really messy and it'd get like transferred lower. But I like this one because even if I turn it this way, if I turn it this way, it still gives me a good amount of like smokiness to my eye. And that's pretty much all I did to the bottom. So just pretty much like that. And then I did apply some mascara. I'm going to take my Wander Beauty mascara. Okay. And then now for lashes, I'm going to take my BaddieBLashes in the style Sugarbaby. These are more like of a cat eye kind of lash because they are a little bit more fluffier on the outside, which I love. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some to the lash band. And then to my lash line. And then what I did to this eye was I applied the lash still to my lash line, but when I got to the outer part right here, I did apply it to like my skin and on the top of my lash line just a little bit, just to give my eye more like of a lifted look, rather than if I were to have applied it to my natural lash line, it would have been like a little bit more droopy. So I did apply it a little bit on top, so that way it gives me more like of a lifted kind of brow. I don't know if that makes sense or if you guys have tried that, but I wanted to try it, and I feel like it really did make a difference. And then I'm gonna apply it to the top of my lash line just a little bit. I don't know why I've really been loving this lip liner. So I'm going to take my MAC lip liner in the shade Cork. Okay, actually I'm just going to go in with this lipstick because I know that it never fails me every time I use it. And this is the Huda Beauty lipstick, matte lipstick in the shade Staycation. So I'm just going to... Okay, so that pretty much concludes this entire video of my version of my matte makeup look. So like I did mention throughout the video, I do normally go for a matte base and all of that. Sometimes I do use eyeshadow, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling, where I'm going, and all of that. But for the most part, my routine that you guys just seen me do is pretty much the same every single time I do my makeup. If I am wanting to do a completely full matte look, this is something that I would go to in a heartbeat because it is so simple but still really glam, and your face just looks really soft and airbrush. But again, if you guys really did enjoy this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you guys are not already. It would mean the world to me. And that is pretty much all I have to say, and I will see you guys on the next one.